Hello everyone, and welcome back to another respawning video. My name is Mikey, and today we're talking about the newly announced Guardians of the Galaxy game by Square Enix. I fully expected my video this week to be all about the mix of games showcased at E3 this past weekend, but to my surprise, there's one game that I need to give my full attention to, and that is of course Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I realise there were arguably some bigger games shown off, but given that I'm a big old Marvel nerd, and Guardians has somehow come out of nowhere and is coming out this year, this is the one that's grabbed my attention. I want to go over everything we know so far, as well as what I hope to see and what I hope not to see in the game come October. Right, let's crack on with it.
I think we should hear our group for once.
Firstly, it was confirmed that despite it being a game about the Guardians of the Galaxy, this will not be multiplayer, and we will instead only play as Star-Lord in what is promised to be a proper story-driven single-player experience. Anyone who knows my taste in games will already know how hyped I am about this, especially after having to deal with Square Enix's last Marvel game, The Avengers. I still stand by my review of Marvel's Avengers, that the story and gameplay were both really fun, but the whole experience was let down by all the online live service bollocks that came with it. So it's refreshing to see Square Enix focus on a proper single player story rather than forcing a horrible cash grab. Now, my first concern was that this was probably supposed to be just that, but given the backlash Avengers received, they may well have made a last minute U-turn, which could result in Guardians of the Galaxy maybe ending up with a weird uneven feel to it. Thankfully though, that doesn't seem to be the case, at least according to the game's senior creative director. When speaking to IGN, he said that he and the team did consider making the game multiplayer, but made the decision to have the player only control Star-Lord and just be able to interact with the other Guardians instead. Jason Schreier also confirmed on Twitter that the decision to go single player was made long before Avengers was a flop and is in no way a reaction to that. So yeah, it sounds as if the game was built as a proper single player experience from the ground up, so I am very, very excited to get my hands on this.
I would be wary, rodent.
You know what? I survived freaking Half-World. I think I'm scared of some little...
It's not alone! Get ready!
Gameplay wise, I think we have a good idea of what to expect from the 11-minute gameplay trailer that was shown off by Square Enix. It looks like a lot of fun, and although we're only in control of Star-Lord, you can still give orders to the other Guardians with relative ease by the looks of it. My only concern is that even in their cherry-picked footage, it looked as if the game was struggling to keep up with all the carnage on screen, so that could be an issue when it comes to frame rates and such, especially on last-gen consoles. Though we still have 4 months until release, so there's more than enough time to work these kinks out. Elsewhere, we also got treated to some character interactions between the group where more than once you have to help settle an argument between your team by picking a side. On one occasion, it even popped up in the corner that Rocket is furious after Quill let Drax launch him across a giant gap on Quill's advice, showing that your decisions will hopefully have real consequences and will likely mean that balancing your team's morale will be just as important as shooting aliens. I absolutely love this, and hope it's a real deep mechanic that reflects something like a Quantic Dream or a Telltale game, but we won't truly know until we have our hands on it.
Rocket, time to put on your monster face.
I only got one face, Quill.
Are you sure about this, Peter? Look at him! You better have one hell of a sales pitch.
Another thing I am truly hyped for is the soundtrack. Having licensed songs for a Guardians of the Galaxy game feels like a must, and judging by the gameplay trailer, it looks like they've nailed it. Having a song like Bad Reputation blasting while you shoot up an alien planet is all I really need in a game like this. I'm hoping it's not just for the trailer, and real life songs will actually kick in for big boss fights and epic cutscenes during the game, as that's something that is a rarity in video games these days and will definitely set it aside from the pack. Lastly, I want to quickly touch on the characters themselves and the voice acting that will likely make or break the atmosphere of this game. Going back to Marvel's Avengers again, one of the big turnoffs for a lot of people was that the cast of heroes felt like a Wish version of their MCU counterparts, despite them being voiced by some of the biggest talents in gaming. Given that the majority of players, outside of a few hardcore Marvel fans, will only know the Guardians from the MCU, there is a real worry that the same issue may occur here. This doesn't have to be the case though. Just look at the way that Insomniac handled their Spider-Man. He feels like the perfect mix of what we expect the character to be with Insomniac's own unique flair, which is perfectly executed by the wonderful Yuri Lowenthal. Admittedly, our expectations for Spider-Man come from a mix of movies, comics, animated shows, and even other games. Whereas, like I said earlier, Guardians only really have the MCU as a comparison, but it's still possible to pull this off, and I honestly believe they will. The brief interactions we saw in the trailer definitely had an MCU feel to it, but was unique and funny enough in its own right to be classed as its own take on the characters. Hopefully this extends throughout the rest of the game, and I can't see why it wouldn't. Overall, I'm really excited to get my hands on Guardians of the Galaxy. After being burnt by Marvel's Avengers, this feels like the perfect way for Square Enix to show what they can really do with this property, and if it's received well, it could well be the blueprint for all other Marvel games going forward. Roll on October 26th.
I just think that we might need Rocket on the outside for this one.
Yeah, we noticed. You want to make that call, then you better not mess this up.
Thank you for watching. I want to know what you think of this new Guardians of the Galaxy game. Am I getting too carried away being a massive Marvel fan? There's a very good chance. If you don't like the look of this game, I want to hear from you, so let me know in the comments below. Or even if you're like me and love the look of this, I want to hear from you as well. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to catch some of our other videos as well, such as The Bear's Den, where last week, Stuart looked at the Evil Dead game, and trust me, it's well worth a look. And while you're there, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, because it helps us out a lot. Also, for all the latest news and reviews, make sure to check out our website respawning.co.uk, where we have more E3 and Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, where Luke in particular has been looking at Elden Ring, as well as making a deep dive into this Guardians of the Galaxy game. And to keep up with everything we're doing, make sure you're following us on the socials at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all the rest of them by just searching Respawn in UK, and you will find us there. Once again, thank you for watching. I've been Mikey, and I will catch you next time.